855-617-2820.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper.
I wish that I could freely dream and be judged from within, hunted by a power that cannot see past my skin. My views are viewed as ignorant, my truth always denied. My history is shrouded in a spider web of lies. Isn't this America? Or is this...
All right, welcome back to At the Round Table with MAMLEO. I'm your host, Larry Ellison, and I think the doctor is back in the house.
Well, yeah, I'm not quite mic'd up. But,
well, while you're getting mic'd up, we want to thank our sponsor, Guarantee Rate Mortgage Company. For all your mortgage needs, give branch manager Cora Holbrook a call at area code 781-342-0252. Guarantee Mortgage is located at 75 State Street in downtown Boston, Mass. Guarantee Rate Mortgage Company, guaranteed to exceed your expectations.
okay, but so as we kick off this next hour and our final hour of broadcast, I just wanted to say the reason why I backed out of that is because I see two sides here. I see an individual who worked extremely hard to change that name. All right. And then I see another individual like yourself and Jamal who's saying, okay, it's okay to change the name, but you haven't changed the attitude.
Right.
All right. And I would say to my brother Sadiqi that he has no control over changing the attitude.
Right.
That's going to be an evolutionary change. That's going to take time to get it done. Unfortunately, with the gentrification and the movement I think emanating out of City Hall to actually move certain people out, that wave is pushing in that direction, and that community now is the one that's been victimized by the drugs and all the other nonsense that's happening.
To your point, Dr. Bradley, right across the street from on the Warren Street side of the there was a new condominium complex built there, right, and they're building more down there. They have someone downstairs. You can't go into the building. It's like they're saying, okay, we will tolerate this. We won't even order cable. We'll just look out the window and we can see all we need. We don't even need cable. It's like watching The Wire and everything else right outside your window. They're tolerating it now.
Yeah.
And it's
for now, because that bad element has been pushed south towards Brockton and that area. So unfortunately now that part of the city has been victimized by that gentrification. So that's why I was like, I'm not going to be involved into this, because once I see someone who really worked hard to do it, and I compliment him on
passion,
actually.
Absolutely.
The passion
but I also
is there.
Have to be realistic about what
it's going to take time to change it.
I tell you, and I'm not exaggerating. I swear to you, every time I pull up because I'm in an unmarked car, even when I had a Ford Fusion and now I have a different car, every single time I pull up, someone thinks I'm coming to buy some Newport or something. I'm like, wow, it's just that bad. The response is that I want to elicit in some illegal activity.
Yeah, well, changing the name is not going to change the attitude.
No,
it's going to take time, and that's not a slight on what he did. But it's going to take time to get that done. All right. So,
Cliff, welcome back in. What say you? I know Jamal is still on there. We're going to bring him back in, but you've listened to this spirited conversation here. Have you been down to Nubian/Dudley lately?
Thursday? Yeah, I've been down there Thursday.
Okay. So, have you seen these vast improvements that Sadiqi has alluded to? I don't want to poison or taint your mind. Tell me your experience when you went down.
My experience when I went down there is like people was like, "Oh, you want some cigarettes?" I was like, "No, I don't smoke." So it was like selling me some type of cigarettes and stuff like that. But I think we're missing the bigger picture. It's not about the improvement; it's about the people that's down there. You know what I'm saying? So we have to, as a people, we have to educate ourselves. The name change is great, but I still call it Dudley.
Right. I don't have any problem what you call it, but I think sometimes we think if we, like Dr. Bradley said, if you put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig, it's still a pig.
Right.
And so that has not changed. Like I said, I remember when I was a young officer I was assigned down there. It was the walking beat. They had a walking beat. It was called the triangle because it was shaped like a triangle, and that was your walking area down there. There was 2 officers assigned there every day on the day shift and on the 4 o'clock shift. And they knew the community, and it made a difference. But I was telling Dr. Bradley off the air is that, you could be arrested for just being present where heroin is kept. So this would not have been tolerated because it was against the law. Now, that officer in that car with the lights on is not engaging. He's there for presence for the most part. He's not out there. There's too many of them out there, and that one officer is there just to hopefully to make the people that are passing through feel better. The transit police have their office. They have an office right there in Nubian Square.
Right.
They look right out the window and see this stuff. This is not like somebody's hiding it. It's in plain view. So I don't know. Jamal, before we go back to this other caller, Cliff said he's seeing the same thing that you and I have seen. I mean, maybe I didn't get the schedule from Siddiqui as to when is a good time to go down there, because I'd love to go down there and not be accosted.
Okay, so, once again, my brother is Lenny from the bookstore. Y'all should get him and his wife on the show.
Let him know, yeah. Give him a
because, he's down there damn near from, 7 in the morning, till probably 7 at night every day, okay? And as you know, my brother, when we go do the food, right, and I tell you, hey, we put a box aside for what? For the sandwiches and stuff like that, right, that people can eat and go, right? Well, where's one of the places I go? Down Dudley.
Right.
Okay. So, and this is the thing with brother like Siddiqui, and and I want to get this real clear because I heard what he mentioned as he was going out on the break the last time. And this is not just for him, it's for a bunch of people. People think that Jamal doesn't like me, therefore he disagrees with what I say. Wow. People should really know me better than that. That is such a petty thing, right?
Yeah. No, look, I don't, like I said, this is one where I even for me, like I said, he alluded to the police officer there. I know why that officer is there, right? It's the same one, like Mass and Cass. It's not deterring anything down there. There are numerous officers.
It goes on right outside the cruiser.
Exactly.
So my only point to this was this. With Siddiqui, we have disagreed over the years on principles. So if he has made moves over the years that I disagree with and I think were unprincipled in nature, that's why I don't like him, to use such, simple terms. Yeah. That's why, I hold I lost respect for him. You know what I mean? That's why that happened, because of the things that he's done, the things that he said, the decisions he's made, things that were wrong, and he stood by it. It has nothing to do with personally, I don't like him, and therefore anything that he does or says or produces is crap. I don't rock like that. That's super petty and immature. So in any event, what I would say is, like I was saying before, Carlos and I were working on this issue from back with the Blue Hill Ave corridor, back when Packy's was still open. You understand? So what I'm saying is, and I still, every Sunday, brother, I go down there, I feed people. I'm not down there 2 and 3 times a day like he says he is. My buddy Lenny is down there, like I said, from 7 to 7 pretty much every day a week.
Does he see it as improving? Has he ever said to you?
No. Okay. Well, improvement, because he's carved out his own thing. He's worked out an agreement with most of the people. They know not to no longer, take a crap on his vestibule. Okay. You know what I mean? But the outside surrounding area, and to his point of a clinic. There's a clinic right next to that. I don't know if you know that. Is the bookstore. Then right next door is the clinic, and then where they used to have the Chinese restaurant is now a clinic that does mental health services and all that. How's that working out? Yeah. So all I'm saying is, some brother had an idea with the renter center that was closed. We need to turn that into a rehab. Great. That would be a great place for a rehab. Here's the thing, though. What do you just capture people with a net and force them to go in?
Well, a lot of them go in.
The people out there, they don't want rehab.
Right. And then you know how many times officers have been assaulted by people with they Narcan them because they messed up their high. because they messed up their high. Yeah. Oh yeah.
My God.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've been out for 10 years.
I'm telling you, they get violent with you for. Jamal, let's stand by. Let me bring this other caller in. He's been waiting patiently. Good morning, caller. Welcome to the round table.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Pastor Dan Walker coming to you live from Nubian Square.
Okay, how is it going? How is it down there? Are you?
Well, it's somewhat quiet down here. I see a few people who are plying their trades, and they're getting ready for whatever this event is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually down on the where the buses exit side.
Okay.
By the Citizens Bank is the side I'm on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just kind of walking around looking, and it just, to me, I don't see no change. I don't see no pride. I don't see no Nubians standing proudly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see any of that stuff. I see what I see every time I come down here, and sometimes I'm down here because of who I am and what I do. I'm down here 2 or 3 times a day also.
Mm.
What? Oh, go. Please go.
You know what, Larry?
Yeah.
Pardon me, Larry and Dr. Bradley. I think I cracked the case.
Yeah.
Sadiqi's down there 2 or 3 times a day, right? Every day, right? He's the one bringing the cigarettes.
No, Siddiqui and I. Yeah.
So, Dan, Dr. Bradley said, "Can you bring him back a pack of Newports?"
Bring him back a pack of Newports. Let me see if I can find somebody willing to sell me a pack of Newports. Yeah. Well. Around the corner. Thank you very much. See, a lady just said. I said when I said let me find myself a pack of Newport. She just said it's around the corner.
Is that right?
I'm very. You can't write this stuff. You cannot write this stuff. Okay.
Wow.
So now I'm in front of Royal Fried Chicken and yummy Chinese food, the most greasiest Chinese food on the face of the planet. Which I'm surprised they can do that. Dunkin' Donuts is closed. Here it is, 9 something in the morning?
9:12.
9:12, and Dunkin' Donuts is closed.
Wow.
Well, guys,
There's nobody in there. It says it's supposed to be open at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, see, this is Saturday morning too, so you don't have that normal influx of
Exactly.
people that you would during the week.
Exactly.
So you know people start a little later on Saturday.
This is only one time in the week. I mean, you have to go there several times to get a real good understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, what Dan said when the lady said he mentioned Newport, she said around the corner.
And pointed to where they are. So I'm walking through the MBTA station right now. We got a police officer doing his job. He's sitting here and is unmarked. So he's out actually getting around. Hi, good morning, sir. So, I mean, it's out here, but the fact of the matter is, it's an attitude. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
But you don't change. You don't change the attitude, Dan.
And you don't change an attitude or a mindset by changing a name. We all know.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Okay, you can say that you can say that the black man has been emancipated, but that doesn't change the slave owner's mindset.
Amen to that.
Okay, and how many times? Okay, here we go now. Let's see. I'm walking over to the other side where the sub shop is, where I go to get my morning sandwich every now and again.
Oh, the greasy
So
slave.
much so that
Yeah, exactly. Uji's? Is it Uji's there?
oh God, no. Oh God, no. It ain't that black.
From Mario's? Mario's?
No,
Yeah,
the
for years now, he knows what. When I walk in, he knows what to make for me. That's how long I've been going there.
You said Mario's or the Silver Slipper?
He said Mario's, brother. So this man is definitely covered by the blood of Jesus.
And there's the cigarette sellers right there. I'm on this side here now. I gotta talk a little quiet. I tend to have a big voice. Oh boy,
well, Pastor Dan, as you take your tour, I hope you go up and visit, the bookstore as well. But also too,
I love those people.
Ironic. Yeah, what I also find ironic is the politicians. So right now there's a huge mural of Liz Miranda's face.
Yeah.
Vote Liz. And I think about it, I'd be like, wow, I would be really kind of heartbroken and ashamed if I put up a monument to my own ego, something like that, and then right underneath it was homeless and poverty and destruction and death. Right. And every day, right over your smiling face is looking right over the thing. So right on that corner of the Rent-A-Center building, with that big mural adjacent to the parking lot, obviously that has been a heavy congregation area. They have attempted to be cleaning that up. They've been stopping the kind of encampment over there. But as you know, you move folks and then you leave, and then a couple hours later they trickle back in. It's it's like trying to stop a flood in your basement by sweeping away the water.
Right.
Exactly.
It's going to come back in.
Mm-hmm. So Cliff,
so right now it's pretty quiet. But when I walked across the street, she was right.
So
the door is open.
Right. Cliff, we have our man on the street. Is his analysis similar to what you've experienced in your recent visit to Nubian Square?
Yeah, he's on point. The same thing happened. The same thing. So Pastor Dan is right on point.
Okay. See, this is the problem, and it's the issue. I don't know Siddiqui as well as Brother Jamal, but Siddiqui and I have, quote unquote, spoke on numerous occasions on numerous talk shows over a 20-year span. So it's always been the same thing. It's always been the same cry, and nothing is different. Nothing has changed. And when you talk about stopping a marijuana store from coming into Dudley, you didn't stop the marijuana store that moved right across the street from where your store used to be. Just things I noticed.
Well, I mean, they're all over the place now. So
I know they are.
No, I'm
saying.
So I'm saying if you had one down in Nubian Square, it's not going to change. I mean, there's so many drugs down there now. It's unbelievable. It's like when City Councilor Arroyo was talking about he wants to pass an ordinance to not sell nips. I'm like, really? If you think that's the biggest problem in the city of Boston is the number of empty nip bottles that are on the street,
right.
I got news for them. They're not just in the city; they're out in the suburbs too. But I mean, if that's what you're focusing your energy on, that is all a smoke and mirrors. I mean, come on.
It's sound and fury signifying nothing.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jamal.
Larry, to that point, if they do a ban on nips, first of all, I'm a drinker, and many people may not know this. Very basic math, right? A nip is basically 2 shots, right? A quarter pint is 4 shots. A nip you might get for $1, $1.50. Quarter pint you're going to get for $2.50, $2.75, maybe $3. So if people are banned from buying nips, they're just going to buy quarter pints. Okay? And then if you ban quarter pints, they're just going to buy half pints. And if you ban half pints, they're going to buy pints. So I don't understand. A pint, let's say I drink Bacardi Dark. A pint of Bacardi Dark is $7. Any self-respecting person of the street can gather together $7.
Right.
And then also, too, just to the point of the Newports, they banned Newports because they thought, the menthol. They didn't ban all cigarettes, which that would be great. Right, but they banned menthol because they're like the menthols are flavored and in our communities and blah blah blah. So they targeted that, and of course, it's banned in Boston, but you can still go to Rhode Island or whatever to get them. So what happens when they ban nips? Right next to the guy down Dudley who's selling cigarettes,
there'll be
a guy who has a trench coat full of nips.
Thank you.
He just
so I mean, in one respect, you could say that they're promoting entrepreneurship. Yeah, they're promoting it.
Right,
absolutely.
Yeah. Right.
And we learn nothing from Prohibition? Did we learn nothing? You can't ban stuff to get people to stop doing it.
No.
It has to be a mind change.
You know what's funny though too? Pastor Dan, Larry, Cliff, I also realizing this. Y'all must look like customers because when you're down Dudley, people are trying to sell you cigarettes. When I'm down there, they keep asking me to buy them. I look like a cigarette dealer.
That is true. That is absolutely true.
Last time I was down there to visit my buddy Lenny, we were out in front of the bookstore talking. I could have made $60-$70.
Right, but see, Jamal, here's the thing. Here's the thing that with the car that I used to have. Right, you remember the gray Ford Fusion I had.
Yeah.
Now most people know what police cars look like. I mean, so I figured that the one I have now doesn't look as much, but there's enough of them out there now where people start to say, that's their new inventory, right? So they know what we're in. That Fusion with the antenna on the back. I mean, there were very few people, unless you're in a limo, that have an antenna on the hood of their car, the trunk of their car. It's very obvious that most detectives drive Ford Fusions, right? We used to be the big Crown Victoria. So you would think that somebody would say, well, let me before if they were an autopilot. And I'm saying I haven't gone down there one time that I have not been accosted to buy cigarettes. And I don't smoke. Yeah.
All right, brothers. All right. Now, in all fairness, I'm gonna make full disclosure. I just got a phone call from our brother Siddiqui, and he made a very good point. And the point is that it's Saturday morning. So Dan Walker's down there. It's Saturday morning.
Right.
So
that's what I told him. It's going to be quiet.
Yeah, we got to factor that in. He also made it clear that, and I have a confidence in this as well, that Captain Hussein will do the best he can.
No,
and we'll
listen.
clean this up.
Let me go ahead. I'll let you finish, and then I'm going to respond to that.
So, and I said to him, this is going to take time to change this place, to change the attitudes. You don't change the attitude by changing, and I think by changing names. I think Siddiqui recognized that. His response was, we're not where we want to be, but we're better than where we were. So that's the conversation.
I would disagree with that.
I don't think we're better than where we want to be. I don't see just changing a name. I don't see a mindset. I don't see what he's talking about.
That's not the point. That's not the point he made. Hold on. That's not the point he made, Dan. What he's saying is that we are not where we are better than where we were. You know, we're not where we want to be. Meaning that he recognized that the mindset hasn't changed, and he recognized that a name change doesn't automatically change the mindset, but it's a process, and we're engaged in. I don't
disagree with that. So let me just go to the captain piece for a second, right? Dennis Cognivan, who was the captain down there, who Captain Hussein just recently replaced, probably in the last month or so. So that captain, first, because he was a white captain, the community was rebuffing him. They didn't want him down there. He proved himself in that community. And this is nothing against Captain Hussein, because I love Captain Hussein. And I told him I would even come down there and work with him. That's how much I love Captain Hussein. That at this stage in my career, that I would be willing to come and work in his station, because he just left from my district, my area, working with him. Captain Cogman was out there walking every single day. He would walk from Nubian Square to Grove Hall, Dudley. So the community loved him. Matter of fact, they were upset when they pulled him out of there recently, and no one knew why. So I'm saying he was out there not just talking the talk, but literally walking the walk.
Okay.
And he would encounter all of these things. You know, he'd move these folks along. I say this because as much as he was trying to do with the officers and doing, it wasn't making a change. It's not because of lack of trying. It was, he said, it's a mindset. It just was not changing what was happening down there. And like I said, you have the transit police. Chief Sullivan, who's the second in command of the MBTA. I know him well. Chief Green. They're down there constantly.
But Larry, you have a mindset that has been put in place over generations.
Right.
So one spoof of a name and pulling off a slave master's name and putting up a Nubian name is not going to change it, because you need generations to uproot that mindset.
Absolutely. So I guess what I'm trying to find is what is the changes that Siddiqui is seeing that the rest of us, Cliff isn't seeing it.
That's a different question.
Jamal isn't seeing it.
Different question.
Dan isn't seeing it, and I'm going to take you for a ride down there, and you tell me.
I haven't been there. Hey, I'm only reacting to what I'm hearing.
No, and that's fair.
But my point here, what I'm saying is that you have to factor in the fact, number one, it is still Saturday morning.
Yes, it's all right. It's always less traffic.
What you see Saturday morning can be entirely different what you see Saturday evening.
Absolutely. Or what you see during the week.
Or during the week.
There are more people.
You have to go down there multiple times during the week to get a feel for exactly what's going on.
Dr. Bradley, I'm down there, and I'll let you come back in there. I'm down there at that BPS building on a regular basis because I go down there for work. And I hate going down there. And hate is a strong word, because I'm like, I feel powerless. I pull up. I'm a police officer. I don't know a lot of people are for serious, but I'm like, I would just like to pull up and not be accosted.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is, every manner of trade is going on down here. The drugs are obvious, but trust me, every manner of trade is going on down here, because I'm down here. They for some reason, they look at me and decide, well, he's not drinking, he's not smoking, let's offer him something else. So I get that particular accostation. I guess they're pretty good at sizing up folk when it comes to what they think they should offer them. But I'm looking at them going, hello. Boy, is your radar off?
Jamal, do you remember the videos that were going viral from down there with one girl I'm being kind? She was Dr. Bradley and Cliff. She was literally servicing a gentleman on the steps of the liquor store that Siddiqui is talking about. And
not the liquor store. The convenience store.
The convenience store. I'm sorry. and people are walking by. I mean, it literally had his pants pulled down. This is broad daylight in the middle of the day.
Okay.
And people are just walking by this. Like it doesn't
exist. The
same
thing went on across the street from the bookstore in one of the doorways, although it was done from a different position, shall we say. And the exact same thing, broad daylight, middle of the day, and this is what's going on. And this type of activity does not happen without everybody's support. Because you can't even think about something like this in Malden.
Right. But
you can't think about something like this in Everett. Right. It's just not going to happen.
No. And Jamal, go ahead.
Not even Malden or Everett. Let's use comparable places in Boston.
West Roxbury?
Because this is what I did back in the day when I did what I call a proximity report, where every time there was a shooting, I showed that a shooting was generally within, a reasonable distance of all the things that we say we care about. A church, a police station, a liquor store, whatever, is all happening right here. So let's use Dudley Square and let's use Hyde Park. What is that? Cleary Square?
Cleary Square.
Same type of dynamic. Main strip, mucho traffic, right? Couple of banks, police station, whatever. Sit up there in Cleary Square, with a 40 ounce and smoke a blunt.
That ain't gonna happen.
And see how long that lasts.
Which Cleary Square?
Yeah, that is not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen, and that's within the same proximity. Because when it's difficult to compare to places like Everett and Malden, because that's a whole different political system, different police force or whatever. But if we look right here in Boston, that ain't even going to go down. Let's go to College Town. Let's go to Austin Brighton. Let's go to Coolidge Corner. Yeah, okay. Coolidge Corner has homeless people. You got all the crazy college kids. You're not going to have the same thing. So what it is when you say it takes all these people to kind of agree on it. That's the thing. And what I remember about it is when I was a kid, remember the combat zone?
Yes, I do.
Oh, yeah.
It was an agreed place of like a no man's land. And this was the agreed place that all the prostitution, the drugs, the skanky, skeezy stuff, all that was going to happen there, and it was kind of okay. And unless there was a murder or something like that, we're basically going to leave you people unmolested.
Well, there was, but there was an enforcement down there. It wasn't, overwhelmingly, but there was. You had the Vice Squad.
Yeah, you had the Vice Squad down. Exactly.
There was an enforcement. There was just too many, and it's like this here. It's like.
But I just want to get back to Jamal's analysis because he said that he's looking at areas that are compatible. So, but Cleary Square, if I'm not mistaken, the population dynamic is somewhat different than the population dynamic in
when you say that, right? It's no, because that is a very diverse neighborhood. Matter of fact, it's probably more people of color up there. It's a more working class neighborhood.
But do you have a more working class in Nubian Square? Is that the same? Because in order to make that comparison, you got to have some consistency in the environment. That's where I'm going with this.
Well, you do to a certain extent down there. You have people who are moving in. You see it increasing more so, but you have a lot more, because you have the transit. So that's a hub for people.
No, but I see Dr. Bradley's point, and I'll raise him one. So let's use Fields Corner then.
Okay.
Fields Corner, very similar demographic, right? But for whatever reason, there are just zones where there's a certain level of shenanigans that's going to take place in any urban environment. We understand this, right? But Dudley, for whatever, seems to have a higher shenanigan threshold that they allow to go on. That they everywhere you're going to see a guy peeing in the train station or drinking a beer or whatever. That's all over the city. But for whatever reason, there's certain zones that have been allowed to be more tolerable of this just open air, wanton. There's drunks in Fields Corner too. But Fields Corner parking lot is not getting taken over by people who are out there shooting drugs in the parking lot and camped out, and it wouldn't go on.
But I wonder what is the crime rate. So now I want to talk about one more thing. Hold up, I want to talk about one more thing here because what's happening here is, from what I understand, and I'm getting this from Siddiqui. All right, I'm gonna be very honest. On full disclosure, he said when he had a meeting with the captain had a meeting with the business owners. He said that the crime rate in Dudley or Nubian Square was 20% down.
Well, see, I don't know. Like I said,
as opposed to
Dr. Bradley, you've worked with the department. We can always fudge numbers, right? So they work favorably for us, because I think it's very difficult. And this is no reflection on Captain Hussein, but Captain Hussein has been there less than a month.
He's getting it from the communication center. I know where he's getting it from. He's getting it from research and planning and research.
What constitutes a crime? See, this is the problem.
There you go.
Right.
So,
there you go.
Right. So yeah, I'm sure people are down. Dudley, car theft is probably not happening to a big deal because people don't really steal cars anymore.
Right. It's hard to steal, right?
Right. No.
Who wants to steal a car and LoJack and shut it down from a computer and your cell phone?
But also to that,
nobody steals hubcaps anymore and all that. So those type of crimes are probably down. Break-ins to stores. I haven't seen many break-ins.
Shoplifting is through the roof. You know why it's down? Because the Walgreens was shut down because of the shoplifting that was going on down there, right? So you don't have as many people looting Walgreens.
Well, the other side too is 1 second, Jamal. I'm sorry, I'm over 6. I got to get it out. The other thing is that we are reporting crime that's reported to the police department. There may be crime that's not unreported.
But here's the other piece, Jamal.
You have to factor
that
out.
And I'm going to let Jamal come back in. Here's the other thing, Jamal, and I'm going to let you speak, and I want to go to Cliff, is that the crimes that these people are doing, they would have been arrested for this behavior. Mm-hmm. So those aren't being factored in. We're allowing crimes that normally. So if you're saying there's a 20, it's because these people are allowed. If you and I, back in 20 years ago, somebody out there shooting up drugs would not have been tolerated. Mm-hmm. Would not have been tolerated. The guy out there selling the loose cigarettes and all that stuff would not have been tolerated.
Well, I think the fact of the matter here is that we're not going to get to change immediately. I think we cannot miss that point. We're not going to see a change in behavior in Newman Square overnight.
Correct.
That's not going to happen.
All right,
it's going to be a process.
I'm going to have to get going.
All right. Thanks for that live report. All right.
I'm speaking to you live.
That's right. Yeah, but no. So Cliff, again, Dan was gracious enough to give us his time and give us a live report in real time what's been taking place down in Nubian Square.
Yeah, somebody mute Dan. He's getting proposition. Okay.
The Holy Ghost has got him. Jamal is I know Sadiq, and I want to be the eternal optimistic as well. But like I said, I just don't see it, and I don't think, like I said, nothing with Captain Hussein. I love that brother. He is family. But he's been there about a month. So the numbers that he's getting is not probably from him actually having gotten a real opportunity to go out there.
But I have confidence that he's going to clear it up, though.
Well,
I think he's going to do a good job in trying to clean that up, though. Because that's his mindset, Larry.
It is. But here's the other reality. Captain Hussein is on his way out. Mm-hmm. Okay? Mm-hmm. I think you had a captain there who was a lot younger, and that was going to be there probably a longer term, could stay longer than Captain Hussein. And I think that area needs a long-term investment from a captain.
Okay.
I think it would it would benefit from that.
Fair.
Because as you said, this is a long-term problem that's been going on for quite a while, right? And if somebody has less than probably 2 years left, we know that if I'm a captain and I've got a couple of years and I can go any day.
But as an individual I haven't been down there. I'm sitting here. You guys make it sound like it's mass and cast to me.
That's what
I'm thinking in my head.
Jamal, Cliff, Dr. Bradley doesn't think it's equivalent. I'm not saying you may not have the numbers, but you have a lot of the same problems, the same drug, and it's now spreading on the side streets. It's now moving up Warren Street, up into Grove Hall. Like I said, it is a big reason why the Walgreens closed down there, because they weren't making any money. I mean, I was down there one day. Let me just say this, Jamal, I'll let you jump in and finish. I was down there one day, and I see this brother walking down the street. He's got 2 big boxes of coffee makers, right? I know he just got them out of Walgreens. Now, I know he ain't got no business, right? But I'm like, I'm normal. I don't even say anything to him, but I know he stole them from somewhere, right? He's trying to find somebody to buy them. Jamal, go ahead. I'm sorry. So, like I said,
let me tell you what, too. So, when you're in the throes of addiction, you're living on the street and all this, let me tell you, too, about how resourceful people are. Mass and Cass it's too crowded. It's too much. Too many people.
Yeah. Right.
So the smart ones are the ones that go to Dudley. Why?
Less competition.
Dudley, well, less competition, number one. It's really an easier environment, particularly if you've grown up in an urban environment. You're not just on the side of a highway somewhere, right? Mm-hmm. You're kind of in a hood. There's, other little things to look at and do and all this. And guess what? One of the biggest attractions is, how many liquor stores are now Mass and Cass?
I think one on right near the park.
Yeah. No, not Blanchard's, but the big liquor store. And then now they got the big new super liquor store inside of South Bay. But down Dudley, you have two regular liquor stores that you could just walk in, It's not like a big production. Most people who are going to Liquorland, not Blanchard's, that's what I call it, Liquorland, down across from 1010, are going in there to buy something for the cookout. It's like more like a bulk place. You're buying wine, a big bottle, a couple of cases, whatever. It's not like your local liquor store where you're just like, people are congregating outside and stuff like that. Dudley has two of those, right? And then this area, once again, and its comfortability on that, because if you look down Dudley, too, notice that you don't see many white people down Dudley. No. Right. So this is kind of like the black Mass and Cass, if you will. You see more people of color who are comfortable down Dudley. Mass and Cass is kind of like, a melting pot, if you will.
Yeah, Pastor Hobbs is even agreeing with you. He's over here nodding like, yeah.
Okay,
I put a lot of thought to this.
So we have the segregation between Mass and Cass and Nubian Notion, Nubian Square.
Well, what do they say? This is what happens to people automatically. If y'all ever know that book, like Why Do All the Black Kids Sit Together at the Cafeteria? Or when Malcolm X said the most segregated hour in America is noon on Sundays. Because black people in there, we can worship the same God. We go to different churches.
All right. True.
Exactly. Right? So it's the same thing with drugs. Who would you rather get high with? Your brothers?
Yeah, because if you go down over to near South Bay, if you're like on the bridge, you see folks coming over the bridge from the South Boston side to go down there to Mass and Cass, or I don't know how those stores over there survive, in that mall, because I wouldn't go over there and patronize any of those businesses over there because of what's taking place over there. And that's why I wouldn't go down to Nubian Square. Like Sadiq don't go down to Twilight. I don't go down there unless it's official business, because I know what I'm going to be going into. And who wants to go to that?
And it's amazing that people like the bookstore have been able to do what they've done, because you should see. They have reading things in there with kids.
Hold on for 1 second. Sadiqi, you on?
He can call.
Sadiqi, you on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just say this, that I hear what's being said. And so, number one, that I'm challenging. First of all, I heard the Rev talking about how he was there by the convenience store and the liquor store. He says it's quiet right now. And he asked about cigarettes and was told, go around the corner. Why would you have to go around the corner to get cigarettes? There are a couple of people there who do that, but they're nowhere near that. Let me just say this, and I'll close with this. This is a challenge to folks who claim that they're down there all the time. There's going to be a festival there today in Nubian Square. Families are going to be coming and everything else. I think that everyone would agree that it wasn't too long ago that there wasn't no festivals or nothing going on there, and people weren't coming down there because of down Dudley. There's a new mindset now in terms of how it's approached. I challenge folks, come there today to the festival. Where there'll be all kinds of folks there with their families who wouldn't have been there 2 or 3 years ago. So it's more than just the name change. It's the implication in terms of what the name change means and what the changes that are going on. And I'm just saying. So,
Dickie, I'm gonna be realistic with you. I wouldn't.
Folks who claim that they drive up and they get all these stuff. Most of the folks who were doing that cigarette thing, they ain't there. You might have 1 or 2 individuals who are under-observers. Plus the fact you got brothers from the Nation of Islam who are there during the week, interacting with these folks, because most of them folks ain't addicts. They're just hustlers. But the bottom line is that for no one to acknowledge or recognize the fact that there are some positive changes coming there, that's going to hinder our growth as a community.
No, it's not. I think if we're so but if you're saying that, Siddiqui, no, because if you're saying to me we should bring my family down there, Ain't no way I'm bringing my family down there. There's no way I'm bringing my family down there. And that's not being uppity. It's just I'm dealing with the reality that just because this festival is going on down there, I guarantee you when the sun comes up, these folks have done, there might be a little bit more police presence because that, and it might be because there's a lot going on today. And with the shooting last night, they may not have as many people as they probably thought they were going to have available to be there. But I would not take my family down there, just like I wouldn't take my family down to Mass and Cass. My brother took us to the airport, and he went by there. My daughter was like, "What is that, Daddy?" I mean, she's 9 years. She could not believe what she was seeing because she's not used to seeing that. And it's not that they live in a sheltered life, but that's not normal. Our kids should not have to walk through that every day. Those kids that are going to the O'Brien and Madison, and a lot of those kids come into there because that's the hub. People come there to go to work. And Jamal's right. It smells like a toilet down there.
I think you, okay. I think you just resolved the issue with O'Brien. Why they're moving it?
Exactly.
They don't want people to see it. They want people to see that. So where are we, man? I mean,
we have to deal with the reality of the situation. I'm not saying that that Siddiqui shouldn't have this hope and optimistic attitude. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to have a more realistic one because I don't see it. I'm dealing with the reality. Like I said. This is not some guy just telling. This is not one or two people. You can go pull in that parking lot down there across from Daily Table, and you will be accosted by the people trying to trip over each other to sell you cigarettes. It is not one or two people. It is out of control down there. Yeah. That little area down there was bad back in the day. Mm-hmm. The things that people allowed to get away with, they would not have been allowed to get away with back then. Gentlemen, good.
And let me interject this. And I don't know, Dr. Bradley, Siddiqui was on your phone, right? He didn't call back in.
No, he was on my phone.
I think the line was tied up.
So I encourage him. I wish he would call back in. I know we only got 15 minutes left now. But see, some of that. This is what I'm talking about, and I understand. That's why I said what I said. I understand when somebody's attached to a thing and they did a thing and they feel a sense of pride and accomplishment, then you want to do it. Yeah. Look. I've been raising the red, black, and green flag for, I don't know, since like 2004 or something. Mm-hmm. I would love to be able to say that this is, had these other effects. But it's like science with data. You would have to be able to quantify that stuff, right? Yeah. So the fact of the matter, let's use the Nation of Islam as an example since he just brought it up. Nation of Islam is down there on patrol. God bless. I love the Nation of Islam. Minister Randy now, Minister Don before him, Minister Farrakhan, the whole sheboinkin, all right? The fact of the matter is that hasn't made a significant impact either.
It has not.
And let's point this out. With their mission, they have the group, the 10,000 Fearless. They march through the community and all this, right? Where's the mosque headquarters? Grove Hall, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now watch this. What's the worst spot in Grove Hall? The parking lot right
it's
behind.
Right behind Flames. Yeah.
Right. Which is the headquarters of Sister Virginia, CDC, Grove Hall, NDC, right?
Right.
And so it's not gonna be, they haven't even been able to take control of the area that is like adjacent to their thing. Mm-hmm. It's a tricky thing because we want to say, hey, just clean up the area,
right?
And unless folks go in there with the head busters, on the police thing and just lock them all up.
But see,
it's
that's
very difficult,
right? But see,
and that's the challenge,
right? But see, Jamal Cliff, that's what I'm saying. Like, I remember when Billy Celeste was the commander on the Area B. Those problems that would happen, he would tell us, "Hey, this is the directive. We're not tolerating that. We're going out there, and there's a zero tolerance for this behavior." And that message was loud and clear. So all you had to do was pull up. See the difference back then, right? If I pulled up and turned on the lights back then, folks would flee. Now you pull up and they just look like it's Christmas, like a tree lighting ceremony. No one moves.
Well, that's talking about respect for policing and the lack thereof. But again, I want to get back to, I kind of wanted to talk about the Donald Trump indictment situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we got caught into this. But I think this is important because this is local.
Yeah.
It's important to hammer it out. And Siddiqui and I have been knowing each other for years. He doesn't want to call in because he doesn't want to become confrontational.
It's not confrontational.
But his piece his hit is that people are doing things down there that they did not do before. Families are coming down. Families will be at the event today.
But how many families will be there during the week? How many families will be? No. I mean, I get it. Look, Dr. Bradley, you are one of the most intelligent people I know.
I appreciate that.
No, really. And you've been a commander in the police department. You know when there's a special event, there is more police presence. There's things that won't be tolerated.
Right.
It's like somebody breaking in for a news, something serious happening, and then they said we now return to our regularly scheduled programming. Go down there after this event later on, once that's over, and that police presence, because even those guys know, there's more police, there's something going on, we need to move out of here right now, right? They're smart enough to know.
So we have to temporarily suspend our operation.
Exactly, right? But come back later on this evening. Come back during the week.
Well, again, like I said, I have not been there. I know you're not talking to me personally, but I'm interested in going down there because I want to see it for myself.
You've been to Madison, Cass?
Yes, I have.
Okay. It is no different. I'm saying go down there and see for yourself because there's nothing like the smell like Jamal. He is not lying. I used to try to hold my nose trying to get into the building of the bowling building so I wouldn't have to smell the strong. I'm looking out the window. I'm upstairs on the second floor of transportation, and I'm watching out of. It's like watching cable.
So you have people camping out on the streets and all that?
They're in the trains, the bus station there, the urinate. They're moving around. You can tell, they're right in front of the liquor store, the variety store. It's all down in there. When Walgreens used to be there, they were in and out of there just like it was like you didn't even need cash.
Okay. All right, brother. We
so the business is gone, because of the behavior down there.
Okay.
It is not. If I'm, one of the things we complained about in our communities was not having grocery stores and pharmacies because the little small mom and pop ones, things were more expensive. I don't think Walgreens is much cheaper, but they were there as a choice. They're starting to move out. The next one that's going to leave is that CVS up in Dudley. Every day I see on my work phone, they're looking for some shoplifter with their picture that they send out for an identification. The same thing from South Bay. How much of and then there was talking. It was I don't know, Jamal. Did you guys see this? They were saying where in our neighborhoods, how much more expensive for the same store. The cost.
Some teenagers did a study on that.
Right.
They did a
I
study
feel
on that.
so bad for those kids because they're going to get their little dreams flashed because they think it's a conspiracy. And when the corporate world tells them, oh, yeah, kids, let's talk to you about theft.
Right.
And how it increases the price to the consumer. Because did you think we paying for that?
Right. And that's what I'm talking about, Jamal. This in Clip, this is exactly what I'm talking about. If I go down there and buy the same loaf of bread from that Walgreens that used to be there compared to the one in my neighborhood, and I'm wondering why it's $2 cheaper. I know why it's $2 cheaper, because they look at their shrinkage. They pass that cost along. They're not going to absorb that cost. And when it gets too bad, they just pack up and move.
Okay, brother.
The numbers don't lie. Cliff, you want to say? Go ahead, brother. Oh, you've been patient.
Oh man, you're dead on. You're dead on. You're absolutely right. It's a travesty.
Yeah. And we have an election, so you have to ask yourself, okay, which of our city councilors? We have an election every year in the city. Our city council is up for election. Which one of them have done a good enough job that they should keep their job? Now, I guarantee you, other than Baker's seat that's open, the vast majority of them, if not all of them that are running for re-election, will be re-elected. So if people are saying things haven't improved and things are worse, then why do these people keep getting re-elected? And you blame them?
Yeah.
Wow.
Am I missing something here, folks?
Well, that's because the same people are voting. Think about it.
It's not the same people vote. It's the lack of people voting.
That's my point. I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Yeah. The same people are voting for the same individuals who are not doing anything.
Right.
And new people are not coming on board to vote.
But even when you do, I remember when Carlos won when he ran. And I was looking at the vote tally. He had gotten 750 votes. 750 votes. So here is someone who I have a lot of respect for, still do. And I'm saying to myself, this is an energetic brother, but you're sending him down there without a mandate, because even if the speaker wants to take him to task, you don't have an army, right? If he's, what are your 750 people going to do when I've got 30,000 people in my constituency?
Yeah.
I can, even if you get elected.
Yeah.
I can ignore you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have to worry about anything you bring into the table, any concerns you bring into the table, any discussions that you may initiate that's concerning your 700 people,
right?
Because my 35,000 folks got it.
So I think we should plan a field trip to Nubian Square with Siddiqui. And
that might not be a bad idea,
and we'll see it from the same lens.
Maybe you see.
Maybe he can point out what time was. But maybe he can point out what's a good time to go.
I think it's all fair, that we do it unannounced. We do it at times that
No, I want to see these times he's talking about because
not for nothing. I don't need to do all that. Once again, I just said, Larry, I'll be there again tomorrow after we do the food thing.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? And then to his point about it's this time of day or whatever, that actually proves the point.
Right.
It's Saturday morning, pretty dead. Most of the businesses down Dudley ain't even open yet.
Exactly.
Right. And yet Dan could be down there on the phone, say Newport, and somebody's like, yeah, around the corner. Well, why would you have to go around the corner for? Because that's where they at.
Right.
So, I mean, it ain't like it's not there.
Right.
And then, too, to the point of the thing going on today, because, Siddiqui, he didn't, detail it all. What is happening today is it's called Buy Back the Block, right? This is the black market people, Kim Janey's sister and them, Chris and Kai Grant, next to the black market. They're doing a thing in honor of Keith Guru Elam, which was a great rapper and from a great family here in Boston. God bless his mother and his father, rest in peace, and him, rest in peace. So Keith Elam, they're doing a celebration for him today. It's a block party. All right, great. To your point, of course it's going to be a fun, family-filled day. There'll probably be face painting for the kids and balloons, and there might even be cotton candy. It'll be great.
Right.
Yeah. This is what I started off with. They're only recently coming back. No, I started off with saying when the parking lot for Dudley was a problem, this is at least probably 8 years ago, they closed out the parking lot down Dudley, across from the bookstore, and they did dancing down Dudley. We can't erase history. So, no, this has already happened. There's a long history of doing events down there. And then right after they packed up their stuff and left, the parking lot was filled again.
That's what I'm talking about. It's just like, look, I give you a perfect example of that, Jamal. Every day, multiple times a day, they go down to Mass and Cass and they go with the sweepers and they clean up, right? If you come back 2 hours later, it looks like they never touched it, right? And they're out there every day. They go to the parks and places around there. They clean up the needles, right? Go back down there an hour later, and it's as if it didn't take place. I'm not saying that they're not trying to improve it down there, but it is not getting any better. It is not. And maybe he goes down there. Maybe Siddiqui's down there that hour after they've cleaned, and so it looks good for about an hour. But I'm telling you, they do this every single day. Go down to Mass and Cass. They got the trucks out there. They got the street cleaners out there. Looks fine. Go down there an hour later. Go down there an hour. This time in the morning. Go down there this time in the morning in most of these places where this is going on. These folks, they don't get up early. They don't have to go to work. The population in the crowd you see most mornings during the week are kids going to school, people going to work, in transition. A lot of those people don't work on the weekends. So naturally, it's quieter down there on a Saturday morning and a Sunday morning. Go down there Monday morning. But you can
still get you some cigarettes, though.
Yes, and anything else you want. Right? They may not all be out there because even those folks know that on the weekends it's like the tea. You run it on the Saturday schedule, Sunday schedule.
What's that overriding store in the hood? They used to have a sign: "We sometimes doze,
but we never close." There you go. That was a store. Yeah, that was a store up there on Washington Street. We sometimes doze, but we never close. And I always said we should steal that slogan for law enforcement. Yeah. I don't know, gentlemen.
It's been an interesting morning.
We've got about 2 minutes. I'm going to give you each a minute. Cliff, go ahead. Start with you, brother.
Wow.
All right. So next week I'm coming to y'all show.
All right. Come on.
Because I'm planning a big event next month.
All right.
So I want to talk about it on your show next week.
All right. We'll be here.
Well, by the grace of God.
You give us a preview of what the event is?
I'll give y'all I'd rather show y'all than tell y'all.
Okay. All right. You're from the Missouri. It's the show me state. Brother Jamal.
Well, I hope Cliff's event is along the lines of what he talked about before, which is the Black and Latino relationships, which is why, I really want to connect with you, mi hermano.
Well, you should come in next Saturday.
I mean? Exactly. Right. So, you know what I mean? But also, too,
Larry,
give him my number.
I will.
And so, look, let's meet down Dudley. Let's smoke a pack of cigarettes. Come on.
and throw a few nips around, right? On the ground.
All right. But you know what? My response to that is going to take time to improve it, guys. So keep that in mind. It's going to take time.
No, listen, we don't have an infinite amount of time. So, like I said, time is not on our side. Something we don't have. Gentlemen, thank you, Jamal. I will be back in the saddle tomorrow. Unfortunately, my vacation is over, and I tell you, I have had a great time. That's why I said I would not bring my family down there. I don't care what they give. I'm all set, and that's not arrogance, ego. I just know the reality is I'm not taking a chance with their lives. It's just,
I hear you.
It's not.
I hear you.
It's not normal. That is not normal.
That's just being a good father, man.
That's not being
that's
common.
That's what a protective fatherhood.
Exactly. All right, gentlemen. Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, man. Be blessed.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Get ready for this active shooter with Pastor Walden Church here today.
I guess we'll have another time. We'll talk about the indictment of
absolutely.
37 counts.